Good morning, fam. Good morning. This is NFT Culture. You got Rob, and you have Lauren here today. Hey, Lauren.
I'm here. I'm here today.
Welcome. And we have an awesome team here today. Welcome to the, what do you say, UniosWorld? You want to say UniosWorld, House of Coffin? You want to say House of Sorcery? What are we going to say here today, guys? Welcome to taking the time today. Hello.
Yeah, of course. It's pronounced Unio.
Unio.
Unio. It's Latin for merge or union.
Got
The
it.
characters are kind of the merge of nature and technology.
So we got Duffy and Stefan. Welcome, guys.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
And we have Art. Hey, Art. Nice to see you
Hey,
again.
likewise. Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Hi,
Thanks for
Lauren.
taking the time, everybody, today. Talk
Hey,
about this
welcome,
fun project.
guys. Yeah, I was so excited. I wasn't supposed to be on this video, but I love this project, and I heard we were featuring you guys, and I'm like, oh, Mal, I want to be on there. So, hi.
Hi, nice to meet you,
everybody.
So I kind of did some research. Lauren, apparently, you know a lot about this project, but as I was doing my own research, I found out that you gentlemen have a huge resume of art. Multiple installations, commercial and residential installations. You have this electric coffin side, you have this House of Sorcery side, and now you have your NFT project. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the background in each of you guys and maybe some of these different businesses?
Sure. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first, Devin?
Go ahead, Duffy.
All right. Yeah. So our studio, we founded Electric Coffin 10, 12, 15 years ago. And our whole goal was to sort of make work together, collaborate, talk about these bigger themes, and then try to figure out a way to bring this type of work into the more commercial world. Sort of we used to say we were smuggling fine art into commercial spaces. And so that's how we started collaborating and bringing our backgrounds together. And, we had done some other stuff, and Stefan owned a brand, which you could talk about, and I worked there, and we grew up skating and snowboarding and surfing and doing street art. And so kind of bringing that aesthetic, but in this more kind of specific direction of where we were trying to place the work. And so we did that for a while. And then we found, after doing that, we learned a lot about the type of work that was resonating and our process as artists and how we could really be impactful to the client work. And then we also realized that we had some really specific things we wanted to talk about in our personal work. So we've split the studio into two. And so Electric Coffin is our fine art and stuff we show in the galleries and museums. And that's Steph and I collaborating, doing the work that's pushing our narrative and sort of the concepts that we want to explore as artists. And House of Sorcery is the side part of the studio where we're the creative directors, owners, founders, and we have a whole team of designers and fabricators and project managers. And we bring sort of this art lens and art process into our commercial work. So it allows us to kind of open up the studio and the way we think and the way we do our work, but for our clients in the commercial space. But being a little bit more white label, kind of putting their narrative first as opposed to our narrative. So which we felt like was really important and impactful to move the needle that we're inundated with, advertisements and commercials, and people live at their work these days. They're there 12 to 14 hours a day. And so if we could bring these sensibilities into those spaces, we felt like we were doing our part to kind of make the world a better place instead of just being a vinyl veneer of Starbucks graphics or whatever else.
No, that's cool. Lauren, have you seen some of these before?
I have seen their artwork, and that's one of the things that got me so excited about it because I clearly love animals. I'm an animal artist. Oh, wait, it's on this side.
Nice.
And I'm also, you guys released some images with like spacecraft on it and campers on the back. And I also lived in an RV for a year, and I'm an aerospace engineer. And it has a look that really is universally attractive. Like a lot of NFT collections are very masculine or very like street art graffiti based. And like this is something that I could hang on my wall that is not decorated in that style. So, and then you guys had some really amazing kind of environmental impacts and philanthropic goals with your project, and that really hit home for me too. So it was really a trifecta.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, then the way we're approaching NFT, obviously, like we talked earlier, we're still new to the space. We're not digital artists. We work a lot in the physical realm, but we work with a lot of different mediums. We're not sculptors or painters, and narrative and process is really important to us. So coming through the NFT space is really interesting for us because it's just expanding our vernacular. But like you said, we're trying to do it in our way. We're not necessarily going to draw cartoons and some of the like headshots. Like we wanted to bring our characters and bring our world and bring our art into the space. And then, we have great partners like Art and our team who are helping us with the sustainability because, again, we're not trying to destroy the earth.
I mean, that's beautiful. Like, I want that. And you guys had some really, really fascinating work in your previous sculpture work with a lot of found objects and like pom-poms and things you wouldn't typically see in fine art.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Stephanie, hop anytime you want, but one of the terms we use in our studio is sort of visual archaeology. I think that there's aspects and themes throughout humanity that are kind of prevalent at any moment in time, but in the modern era, we're sort of looking and seeing this symbolism and seeing these iconography, and to us, something that we might see on a mud flap, which we have. There's a phrase, "cool it," a type of piece that we use a lot. That literally came off a mud flap from the deli around the corner. We were getting lunch one day, and it said "cool it" on the mud flap, and we took a photo. And for us, that resonated with this idea of sort of peace and nirvana, and kind of not being so hung up in the rat race. But it was ironic that it was on the back of this commercial delivery truck. So those types of relationships and sort of scratching the surface and finding subtext and meaning is a big part of our work for sure.
So when you were crafting these images, is it done digitally, or are you then taking those objects and creating a physical collage and then digitizing it? What's your process?
It's kind of a bit of all of it. It can start with photographs and drawings, and then it usually goes to the computer at some point, especially with the patterns on them. And then in the art process, it can end up on a canvas, and then it's painted. And so it tends to go through quite a few different processes on the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Most of the work has pattern embedded in it, which usually happens digitally. And like the Dreamer on the van was off of an RV that was parked around the corner from the studio one day. I mean, it's a lot of our actual discoveries and elements. Even some of the patterns, we'll see patterns out in the world and we'll take photos and then redraw them. And so it's a lot of found stuff and then digital stuff and then like processed through computer sketches, but then hand painted. And I think most people don't realize what they're looking at when they look at our work.
It's pretty detailed. You really have to zoom in to see all the imagery in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys been around for a long time, and you have a great track record and resume of current art. You have that electric coffin, your gallery style, then you have your House of Sorcery, the commercial. And is this the first time you guys are bringing your talents to the NFT arena?
No, this is, let me know. Is this our third release?
This is third. Yeah. Third release. Yeah.
So we did.
So, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You can explain what we've done, Art. You know it better than I do.
Yeah. Well, for starters, thanks, Rob and Lauren, for having us. It's awesome to see the growth and progress of NFT culture. And you guys have been instrumental in a lot of the projects that we started. So thanks for that. But to answer your question, yeah, this is the third release. The first one they were the actually inaugural drop that we did with Phosphine. And one of the thesis, the thesis around Phosphine is to connect people to the real world, and specifically also targeting artists that were mid-career looking to explore and experiment with NFTs. And we wanted to bridge that with not only technology, but also process in the community. So they were the first ones that we launched with, and they had a great first drop. We did a 1-of-1 that sold on Foundation. Did really well, and then we did a small edition. And then the second one was in partnership with Agacoin. They also do the reverse token, which is a token focusing on supporting climate change solutions. And basically what we did was a bit of a novel thing where we paired the NFT with a Bitcoin. So it was actually a Bitcoin that was minted with green energy. So it was really more of an awareness campaign. And that did really well as well. And then this is the next iteration. And being consistent on bridging the real world with the virtual world. And in this project, what we're looking to do is establish direct connections to nature, and exploring the conflation of nature and technology and humanity's role around that on the artistic side. But we're really excited about actually some of the utility that we haven't announced yet, but I will tease here that is going to create individual experiences with projects that actually matter. So these are verified climate solutions, not just offset credits, not just donating to policy, nonprofits or whatnot, but there's a whole suite of things that I think the crypto community just isn't aware of, but the climate community is, around what things you can do to heal the planet. And so we'll be creating individual connections for NFT holders to these projects and novel experiences on the website. So a bit of a Web 2 where we have a guy who's a PhD in vision and remote sensing satellite imagery, but we'll be bringing all these concepts and modern technologies with this amazing art to create these individual experiences. And the other thing that we're doing, which is going to be a challenge, but we're up for it because we think Phosphine really helped validate this approach, is that we don't like the whole kitschy, invite 10 people to the Discord and, buying for, purchasing, eyeballs and artificially inflating, visibility. So our approach is going to be more organic, through strong partnerships with nonprofits and other implementation organizations on climate change, coupled with the physical installations, with Electric Coffin, and the Unios project. We think that that's going to be a big differentiator. So we're playing the long game for sure. So this is yeah.
So this is number 3. Was it the polar bear with the spaceship on it?
That was the second.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, that was the second one. Well, we did a
right.
We kept calling it a sticker. We did one. Was that on Tezos? The one that was the sticker.
I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the one that was the large open edition, and then we shut it down after 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
God.
We're experimenting. We're trying to figure out how to, like I said, incorporate this into our studio practice. It's not we're not going to become digital artists. We're not interested in only selling NFTs. This will be a sector of it. We think it's critical to be able to participate, but in a real way, in a way that makes sense to our work.
It's also just an interesting emerging part of the culture, and not to participate would be a miss, I think.
Yeah.
Totally.
Art, was that first drop you said was on Foundation? The first drop?
The very first one, yeah, it was on Foundation as an auction.
And the second one was Tezos?
We did Tezos, Rarible, and I think Foundation. So we dropped on multiple platforms.
And what about this third one? What about this one for Unios?
Yeah, so this is a collection of 7,500 NFTs that will be generative. So it will be familiar for Ethereum collectors. And we will be doing some layer 2 stuff on, as I mentioned, creating that direct connection to some of these projects. We're kind of keeping that under wraps right now. But so that'll be a generative project on Ethereum.
Is it going to be, you're going to have hosted on your own website somewhere where you can, where can I direct the audience or our Discord to go? I know you have your website up, but do you have the minting site up or anything like that yet?
So that website will be the minting site as well.
Got it.
And so, so just go to UniosWorld, join our Discord. You can learn, more about the project. We wrote a white paper as well.
Okay.
I should say we did, Duffy and Stefan really provided the content, but kind of sharing more about the lore, the ethos, and what to expect.
Awesome. When is that day? When are you going to be? When's that drop day?
Great question. Yeah, I think we're going to kind of keep pace and just see how things are progressing. But we are writing our own custom contract.
Oh, great!
Some novel utility around it as far as the secondary impact that we're hoping to get and connect people to. And so that actually on the tech side, it's totally fine. I think it's really more like what, as you know, there's no right timing, but we do want to create a little momentum, and I'm sure after this, we will get to the next milestone. But yeah, and I think the other thing too is we're also trying to keep pace with like what's happening in the real world. So with Miami around the corner, Art Basel, like that's something where the guys are going to be there, and we'll be announcing a couple of in-person real-time projects there. But then I would say, if we had to put a timeline, December, where this isn't going to be like months later, but yeah, this is when we'll do the drop.
Well, I'll be looking forward to.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Go ahead. You guys will have a busy week next week with Art Basel. Is there a particular gallery that you're partnering with while you're down there? Or where can people see you who are going to be on location?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're showing at Scope, which is one of the fairs in South Beach. And we're showing with a gallery called Clark Griffiths, booth EO21, if you are actually coming to Scope. So we'll be in South Beach a lot. I mean, honestly, we were talking earlier, this is our 3rd year in Miami. It's become a little bit of a tradition for us. This is the biggest show we've had so far. We've shown the whole time, but this is our biggest showing at Scope. We're really excited. But we also like to cruise around and see for us, it's a good time to catch up with old friends we haven't seen that live around the country and see some great art and eat Cuban sandwiches. So we'll be milling around South Beach and downtown. And I know we're going to have dedicated hours at the booth that the gallery is setting up, which we can post on our Discord. I mean, are we allowed to talk about? So we're releasing NFT. So we're going to do a limited edition that you can get at the booth. One of the Unios will do an edition, and then we're in the.
So you'll be able to get an NFT at the booth.
Yeah, let's say that out louder for the people in the back.
That's awesome.
You have to come in person.
Their Art Basel booth, you will get an NFT edition.
And Art can explain the mechanics, because I know that there's like a Poe app and stuff, but again, we're still
nice, dude. Cool, Art. All right.
So we'll have the information at the booth about this project and the Discord and the website, but then there will be a limited edition you can get of one of the NFTs, specifically from Scope through the gallery. And then we're also in the process. So all the pieces we're showing at Scope are Unio characters. So we're in the process of minting the physical pieces. So they'll come with an NFT as well. So that's something we're really excited to. I mean, even just overall with this project and where we're at with our studio is we really want to merge our physical work with the digital space. And so we're going through the onboarding of starting to mint all of our work. So there will be, the certificate of authentication will be on the blockchain, which we're excited about. Right now we have our own serial numbers and our own inventory, and it's very archaic and manual. So to be able to utilize this technology and put these pieces so they're authenticated and secure for future times is another aspect we're excited about too.
That's awesome.
That is really awesome. So for people going to Art Basel for the first time, and a lot of other NFT people watching this who haven't been there before, NFTs are kind of taking over Art Basel this year. Do you have any recommendations for people going to Art Basel for the first time? Because it's very confusing. They have 3 different entrances. They have different time slots. They have like a VIP ticket. And you guys are the pros.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you my perspective. Stefan will give you his. So Basel is one fair of like 20. I recommend trying to get to as many fairs as possible. We're showing at Scope. Untitled is a really good fair. Context and Art Miami are excellent fairs. So go see physical work, obviously. I mean, NFTs are great, but there's also, the city is full of really beautiful art and objects, and it would be amiss to not see those. Eat Cuban food. I mean, there's great Cuban food in Miami.
Yes, you need to tell me where to find the best Cuban sandwiches. I'm such a foodie.
I'll text it to you so that we don't have to wait in line. Yeah, Basil's great. I mean, it's.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was multiple different fairs. I thought that one ticket got you into everything else. So what do I need to go see you guys at Scope?
We'll get you tickets to Scope through the gallery. Every
the
fair
nice thing about Scope too is Scope's on the beach, which you're in Miami.
Okay.
It's a nice place to be.
I think you're right across from my hotel. I Googled it and I'm like, that's right where I am.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. I mean, honestly, like Wynwood's great. It's a great neighborhood to visit. Little Haiti is where all the artists have moved. So I know there'll be a ton of like open studios and stuff going on in Little Haiti. Every wall in Wynwood is open season for murals. So there's a ton of people painting murals. It's just, I mean, it's a scene. It's fun. We live in a very kind of tech forward, outdoor, conservative style. Obviously, Seattle's progressive, but conservative style wise. So everything here is like, wood and black and steel. So coming from here, which is pretty reserved, aesthetically, going to a place like Miami and then having it be flooded with artists, it's quite the scene. It's definitely an experience.
It's always really inspiring, right? Just to go see everything. It's like going to an incredible place to eat every kind of food in the world. You see so much and talk to so many people. It's pretty fantastic.
I'll bring my stretchy pants.
Are they leopard?
I have faux leather stretchy pants, but they are not leopard spots. I do not need leopard spots on my butt.
We had
the outfits. You need like pink fuzzy shoes and like leopard pants.
Oh yeah,
a lime green leather jacket.
So I need a funkier attire than like, stay-at-home mom chic, you're telling me.
We just wear all black. That's like the best thing for us.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
So I got a lot of that.
Duffy, you said, did you have that booth number again? Did you have a booth number that you guys are at? Because people in the chat are asking.
Yeah, it's booth EO21.
EO21. All right, I'll type it back to the chat for everybody.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, we're pretty active on our social media during this time too. So if anybody wants to follow us at Electric Coffin, we'll be on there. We'll be posting. We're happy to meet up with people and chat and hang out.
Okay. People in the chat are asking about that. Okay, I just put EO21.
Yep.
Scope. All right.
And as soon as we get sort of sorted out with the details on the NFT release at the booth, and we'll put that in the Discord, and we'll probably post. I mean, we'll definitely post about it on our social media. So do our best to make sure that those details are out there.
Yeah, follow them on their Twitter, UniosWorld, at UniosWorld. You can check it out right here.
Yeah, I mean, look at those images. Look at that polar bear and the spaceship, and you got deer. You guys want to drop any more alpha about what animals are going to be included in your collection?
So, if there's 7,500 individuals, are they going to be? Yeah, about how many animals? Different animals.
What is there? 7 to 10?
Yeah, I have 10 to 15 different animals.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the whole concept.
There's some one-on-ones though too.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the ones that are just, we've kind of teased a couple on the Twitter, but yeah, the one-on-ones are really unique.
Okay.
And these guys have been around for a while, so we have a whole kind of catalog and library, and and they're evolving. This is one of the pieces.
Cool.
Yeah, zoom in on that one. I love that one.
That's awesome. That's nice.
That's one of the new ones for Miami that will be there.
It has a ton of detail in there.
I love that. Popsicle, you have a skull, you have little Debbie cakes. This is sweet. See, people have to notice these details, like Lauren was saying. You have to go in and look at this kind of stuff and appreciate the details at a high level, right, Lauren?
Yeah, I could stare at that for a while. Like you're gonna find something to look at. It's just not one image. Like, oh, that's a cool wolf with a radio. You're like, what is in there? That is cool. You got like a rocket pop and like nostalgic elements and some throwback to like different artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean so this is kind of, this is interesting enough. This is emerging of this kind of other body of work that we've had, where we've been doing these cornucopias. I don't know what we would call them, like clusters of floral, like organic matter, but mixed in with like trash and like fast food and typography, and they're meant to be sort of these snapshots of the modern world, but the relationship between all these things, but also noting that nothing is either good or bad. It just is. We need all of it to kind of make the human experience. And a phrase we use a lot in the studio, and you see in a lot of our work, is space dust. And the whole idea is that it's all the same matter. We're all the same. We're only here for a brief time. Like, you kind of have to be okay with with the fact that it's all makes this beautiful picture. You know, it all kind of works together, and then it's all going to be gone. So who cares? Just enjoy the ride. And be
I
nice.
love that chevron pattern that you have a lot. Is there a particular reason that resonates with you, or that it's in a lot of the artwork?
I see on the tail here too.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't have, like, I have a story, but I want to hear yours first.
we have a lot of pattern in the work, and it kind of finds its way into. I mean,
that one, I think too, that particular one reminds me of tire tread tracks, which cars are such a ubiquitous part of our culture.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather saw the invention of the car, and if you look at how it's shaped our cities to this point, my grandfather just died. It's such a powerful. That's where it comes from for me.
Yeah, the pattern in general is prevalent in the work. It's just kind of if you zoom in nature, everything's fractal. There's patterns. Our DNA is pattern. So this is just the kind of whimsical.
That one in particular spoke to me because my kids are 4 and 6. When they were babies, that was the most popular pattern for any kind of child bedroom decor. Like their sheets were chevron, their crib covers were chevron. I'm like,
that's true.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and then I guess, another point worth mentioning too. So we're doing this release, and these characters are a big part of our body of work. We have one of the things we're doing. So there's a series of exhibitions we've done called Future Machine, which is where the Unios have kind of really landed as their world. They live in the sort of nowhere world of the Future Machine ecosystem. And Future Machine 4 opens in February. Here in Seattle, there's a museum called Museum of Museums. And we'll have a couple big full custom sculptures, built out sculptures. But one of them, and we're trying to figure out ways to incorporate the NFTs into the experience. So having a way where we can, I believe we're doing the zebra. So we have a zebra character, which is stacked with these TVs. And one of the ones we posted, I believe, was the bear, or was a tiger with a TV on its back with a Unio in the TV. We're trying to bring that experience to life. So actually build some of these Unios life size, but with the TVs, and they function. And some of the content, what we're exploring is ways where people could, I don't know how we're going to do it through Twitch or some back-end programming, but be able to actually have people submit and cycle their NFTs to be played within the museum show on Unio. So it's sort of this like meta Unio experience, but allowing people to participate and bring their character to the space.
That's really awesome. And I was going to ask, because like clearly I need some kind of equine character in this collection to get.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any horse. We have a zebra.
It's
That's close.
Equine. Oh, it's zebras and
That's
equine.
close.
They're close.
Yeah. I believe that's in the generative collection too, right? We did that one.
Yep.
A version of it. The one that we're building is a little bit different, but yeah, we've done a version of it.
There's some one-on-ones, and it's in the generative aspect as well.
That's awesome.
And all these characters, like I think the conversation of what we're trying to do with the NFTs, of that relationship between art and technology, these characters are meant to manifest that into these sort of modern spirit animals, for a better sense of, they represent archetypes in humanity, but they're also sort of, characters, these visual reminders that we are self-directed with our evolution as humans. We are pushing ourselves into being more digital. And so the idea that there is an inherent relationship between nature and technology in today's sense, we refer to digital technology, but any tool is technology. And just how as humanity we've sort of walked that line through the generations, but now we're sort of at this precipice where it could, it's happening really fast. To Stephanie's point, right? Like the car was this big thing. It took 90 years to kind of get to this crazy point where resources are being sucked up and electric cars are happening, and we've had to pivot. With digital technology, that bell curve is so much steeper, and so these characters are really meant to kind of be really fun, and exciting, but also somewhat kind of glaring reminders that we are intertwined and we're engaged, and you know, we could fuck up nature and we could fuck up the world, and if we don't do this in the right way, it's gonna be bad for everybody. You know, we're reliant on each other. We need nature. Technology is a powerful tool. It makes the human experience better. Like, there's no reason why technology can't make the next generation's life so much more insightful and intellectual and truly connected, not just this like weird social space that feels like connection.
Yeah.
So
I love that insight. So
something too, I was going to mention, a lot of the influence comes from Bali. We have a studio in Bali as well. I spent about 16 years there. I had owned a fashion brand previously. Duffy was over there a lot in those days, and we still maintain a studio there, and a lot of inspiration comes from there. You looking at the aesthetic of the work, that's in the pod as well.
I can see that a lot, the details and the flowers, and it's a little exotic flair to
it. Hey, Stefan, could any NFT collectors go to the studio? Could we offer something like that?
Absolutely. As long as I can go too, let's go. Usually we're there usually every year or so, but with COVID, we haven't been back since it started, so it'd be amazing to get back over there.
Lauren, we got to go to Bali.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll get some NFTs at the booth at Art Basel, and then we're going to Bali with everybody.
I love it.
We'll have to spend at least a month. That's the requirement.
Let's go. We can live stream.
Say goodbye.
We can live stream from there, no problem.
Yeah,
let's do it.
They have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're good.
Exactly. It's the same.
So these characters, guys, these characters that you're launching this new 7500 project with, these are historical characters that you guys currently have been evolving for a long time, right? They currently are living characters, correct?
Yeah, it's definitely part of the narrative that's been going for years. So
okay.
The really interesting part that I would point out with this too is building all of these elements that are then put into a generator. Having built a narrative that's very specific, it's been an incredible experience to see the randomization and new characters being developed that you would not have thought about. That's been a really remarkable experience.
That's cool.
That's
I was going to bring that up.
Like just seeing it like born, like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, and there's things that are better than we've made. So that's amazing.
That's cool.
Well, we still made it. We just used a tool to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically, I guess to that point, historically, we haven't mixed and matched, the vehicles or the attributes too much. Like, our main character, her name's Ursa Major. It's the bear with the shuttle on her back. And she's got a pretty deep, steep lore that we talk a lot about. She's kind of the golden child, I guess, of all the Unios because she shows up the most. Yeah, it's been interesting through, like I said, with Stefan, like, there's new characters that have been born that we haven't done because we've typically been, even ourselves, a little, not rigid, right? But just like, oh, we like this on this character. Oh, this fits well here. And we haven't really looked outside of those parameters too much because we were...
You just get wrapped up in the storyline, right, that you're creating, and they tend to keep coming up.
Mm.
So
can you share a little bit about the lore of Ursa Major? Or because I haven't heard about that before.
Totally. So the name comes from, the Big Dipper. So it's the constellation for the Big Dipper. And the whole concept was sort of thinking about the Great Bear and human history for navigational purposes. Mm-hmm. Societies have always looked up to Ursa Minor, I guess, for the North Star, but have used constellations to explore and guide themselves. And then noting that it has a space shuttle, it's not a rocket ship, but a space shuttle on her back. It was just that it was that sort of perfect metaphor for exploring, like humans' inherent need and desire to explore, and the fact that we've been exploring since day one, and we've been using the stars to guide us, and now we're, within the stars, and this idea of like continually this upward momentum of exploration, but also internal. And so it's meant to go either way. But she typically represents that notion of exploration. And we've done the swimming one, which we like because it also starts to reference, the deep, the ocean. I mean, the ocean has more unexplored parts and unknown aspects of it than, some parts of space, which is interesting because it's on our own planet. So just this idea that you can never stop exploring, and humanity's continual need to explore, but also noting that you can do that responsibly and sustainably and with care, and exploring doesn't mean cutting down rainforests, and exploring doesn't mean destroying civilizations or ransacking. It just it means opening opportunities, expanding horizons, that type of stuff. So that's typically what she sort of references.
That's really cool.
And these characters that have this, they have a history already. You're going to be able to see some of these in museums and other installations still for the future, correct? So if you have one of these NFTs, you could actually maybe see this in one of your commercial installations or another exhibit you're going to do.
Yeah, some of it will be a scope, which
cool.
is, coming up, as well as the museum show that's coming up, and I guess that's next year.
That's cool. So you could actually see your NFT in a show. That's neat. That's cool.
Yeah. The one that we're building for the show in February, it's the zebra with the stack of TVs, and then each TV will have different content, and we're imagining one of the TVs would be like cycling through. So that's literally where you could see your physical NFT.
Cool.
But you could also see an iteration of a Unio that would represent one of the generative NFTs.
Neat. That has a good connection. That has a long tail, cool connection with what you've been doing, the past, present, and then future too.
Yeah.
I like
that. I love this real connection between like the fine art world and the gallery world and the museum world with NFTs.
Yes.
We've kind of seen that go the other way with Christie's and Beeple, but this is you guys coming into the NFT world. So that's really exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think what we get excited about, and even within our two entities within the studio, like Electric Coffin and House of Sorcery, is there's all these really amazing tools and techniques and processes, and to be able to kind of like throw things over the fence and pull things one way, and having that two-way interaction with technologies, and I just think it makes for better work. I think it makes us better artists to bring what we learn in commercial space to our fine art, and taking what stuff we're learning in our the gesturalness and how we process our artwork, bringing that to our clients. So I think that, to be successful, it has to be a give and a take. We don't want to just push everything one way or pull everything another way.
Yeah. I think that's going to differentiate your project versus so many other in this space right now. So that gives you a lot of depth and equity to the project. I like that. And for those of you in the chat, you're asking, it's the website is Unios.world. You guys can see it right down here as well. Their Twitter, you guys, I'll flash down the bottom, UniosWorld. You can check out these guys. If you're going to be in Art Basel, come hang out. They're going to be at booth EO21. EO21 at this, and it's called the Scope Fair. Scope
Art Fair, yeah.
And it's on the beach, which is an easy.
And it's on the beach.
It's a giant.
Hang out with Stefan, and we're gonna hang out with Duffy and Stefan on the beach.
Arguably the best place to be.
And if you go, people in the chat are asking now. Yes, if you go, you do have the ability to get one of these at their booth. So you have to go to the booth, check them out, and you can actually get one of these NFTs somehow at the booth. So it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna do a POAP too, right?
And a POAP.
Yeah. So if you go to the booth, there will be a QR code or some way mechanism to get the POAP, which you only get if you're in person. So yeah.
All right. The chats are going crazy. The chat people are going crazy right now. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome, Art. Well, Duffy, Stefan, thanks for joining us today, guys.
Yeah.
We would love to have you guys back on when you guys get closer to the drop date sometime in December. Please come back on. Our chat and Discord are very excited about this project. So please, we'll love to have you guys back on. Thank you very much for taking the time today, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. It's great.
Look forward to seeing you guys in Miami.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thanks
in
again, Rob and Lauren. This is great.
Yeah, we'll follow up on Discord. We'd love to connect, Lauren, and we'll
yeah, man.
Absolutely. Let's go get some sandwiches.
Let's do it.
Seriously.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day.